Hi, and welcome to another episode of Top Volts. And today we're just going to do a quick video on the comparison of the standard RX motor and the race-tuned RX motor. Here we have two almost identical cars. These are the Lotus MM C54, first released in 1960 as one of their first sort of released cars by Triange Scalextrics. And they're both pretty much identical in pretty much every way. Same pickups, same guides, same detailing, different color helmets, and one's large, one's not. I'm not sure which one's the standard one. But today we're going to look at the motors inside of these cars, and one being a race tuned, one being standard. So if we remove, so carefully pull out the two retaining clips back and front, and now this should enable us to lift the body shell off. So we'll just place that to one side, and the same front clip and the rear clip, and carefully take the body shell off. So first impressions, they look pretty much identical. The main thing to look out for, it isn't the rule of thumb, because you can get race tuned motors that look standard, but the difference between these two is one has a black frame to the motor itself. I'll just remove this front axle, and if you can see there, if I roll that back, can you see the frame is black? This is usually the first telltale that this is a race tuned motor. The brushes look identical. Most things, when you're looking around at the same connection points, it is basically the same motor. And if we look at the standard, so the standard has a standard silver framing to the motor. So looking closer at these motors, so the brushes are pretty much identical. Same pinions. This one looks slightly chunkier, but overall pretty much the same. And then you start to look at the windings inside the motor. So if I turn this motor so you can see, the windings inside there, see that they're more recessed. If I can keep this still, and take note of the size of the copper wire. And if I show you a standard, see straight away you can see that there is a much larger amount of cable, of wire in there, sorry, which is coming further to the top of the windings here. But the cable itself is much finer. I would say there's probably like a 0.1 copper wire. When looking at the race tuned, if I turn that around and hold it there, that looks almost like a 0.3 copper wire. Noticeably thicker, but also noticeably recessed. So there's less windings on the race tuned motor, and this is giving more air for the magnets to do their job. There's another various meanings to this which I'm uneducated to really get into, but as an observation, the wire on the copper wire is noticeably thicker and recessed and less windings. And then the standard, a finer wire and more windings. So they're the main differences I can see in the cars themselves. Other than that, the same fixing points. The framework to the body, to the motors are the same. The brushes look identical. There's no real difference on them at all, even down to the pickup area. I'll say the pickup area has a slightly larger diameter at this point than the standard. The standard ever so slightly looks smaller at this pickup point. So maybe they have increased the diameter as well at this point. But overall, pretty much identical. So I'll just put the body shells back on. Just put the front axles back in place. And when placing the body shells back on, as I've mentioned in previous videos, just pull those retaining clips just back, just so you don't bend or break them as you're placing the body shell back on. Turn it around, place them in, and just push those brushes back, braids. And we'll do the same, just making sure that the wires are out of the way of the body shell, because as on many of the Scalextric cars, you have these locating pins either side, and what you don't want to do is pinch the cable as you're pushing the body shell back on. So just gently push those down. Bearing in mind some of these cables wires are small and a little bit brittle as well, so just got to be a little bit careful as you're doing it. Once again, just make sure these retaining clips are pulled back. Turn it around. Perfect. I hope you've enjoyed my videos and found some of it informative and possibly taken some tips away. As always, if you have any helpful tips or guidance towards these cars or race tune motors, please leave a comment in the comment section and I'll try my best to get back to you. Any information on this circulating to help myself and others will be absolutely amazing. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.